No, I'm not from. I am from Brantford Kia, but that's not how I introduce myself. First time I've messed that up. Hey, buddy, it's Peter from the. No, it's Peter from the Kia Hyundai channel. Oh boy, it's Friday. All right, what we're gonna do today. First of all, we do these live videos every single day at 2 o'clock. Normally, I get the introduction right, but today I messed it up. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna take a really close look at the Kia Rio LX Plus, and we're gonna compare it to a Toyota Corolla. Now this happens to be a used Corolla because really that puts it on par. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over the question, should you buy new or used? And I wanna be fair about a couple things. Obviously, I'm gonna be biased towards the Kia. You should know that going in. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna say that the Corolla is a great idea because we sell used cars here as much as new cars. So that's a used car we have on our lot right now. But I'm gonna help you make the decision about which decision might be best for you. I'm not going to ask you to take my financial advice as your financial advice, but I will talk about finances. I will talk about the vehicles themselves. I will talk about a whole bunch of things in this scenario that probably aren't brought up in these little 3-minute clips that you see on, hey, buy new versus used, or buy used versus new. We're gonna go over those things, and I'm gonna present both sides of the table, and you can decide for yourself. So I feel like doing a vehicle review like this, especially on an entry-level car like this, is a better real-world scenario. So instead of just talking about the car or just giving you that 3-minute sound bite about buy used versus new or buy new versus used, I feel like this real-world scenario is let's put all the questions on the table and tell you the variables and allow you to decide. I think that's a better way to do it. So that's what we're gonna do. Now, because this is a live video and we do this every single day, what I'm gonna ask is that if you wanna see just the content of this video, if you want, you can skip ahead to the 3-minute mark. So skip ahead in 1 minute and 10 seconds. We'll get going with the content right there. In the meantime, I'm gonna show you how to join us live. We'll talk a little bit news and notes, and yeah, we'll cover a few other things. All right, first of all, if you wanna join us live, go to our YouTube page. It looks like this. Refresh the page exactly at 2 o'clock. It's 2:01 right now. And you will see our live video take over that page right there. It says live right there. We're gonna click into that. It's gonna run an ad right now. While it's doing that, I just wanna say really quickly, if you are looking for a new or used vehicle, whether it's a Kia, Hyundai, or any kind of used vehicle, and you're in Ontario, why not give our dealer group a chance? Brantford Kia, Brantford Hyundai, Owen Sound Hyundai. All three of those dealers support this channel. They make this possible. And yeah, you can just reach out to me after the video. Just click the link in the description. That'll be the way that you can connect with me, and I will connect with our team, and they will help you out. All right. Okay. So 2 minutes, 44 seconds. Let's talk news and notes a little bit later in the video. We got 10 seconds to get going, and I kind of want to make sure that at 3 minutes mark I start. Feel free if you're on to hit that like button. It really helps me out. I'm just going to ask you for it. No good reason. Just go ahead, hit it. Doesn't hurt you. All right, we are 3 minutes in. So let's talk about these two cars first of all right now. Okay, this is a 2021, which is in this case a brand new car. I know on the lot right now we have a few 2022s of different models, but the Rio 2021 is a brand new car. So 2021 Rio, 2014 Toyota Corolla. They are not the same price. Let me just show you really quickly what the Rio costs. We'll jump to the Corolla, and let me just show you down here. All right, the Rio as equipped, $14,495. Seems like a lot of money. Maybe. The Corolla as equipped, with our little sticker right here, $10,981. So really quickly, you're gonna say, hey, they don't compete, they don't compare. I got 10 grand to spend, that's all I want to afford. Now, that might be a really good way to do things, but before you just tune out, let me just talk to you really quickly about how people actually buy cars. Most people buying $10,000 cars, $10,000, $11,000 cars, they don't just have $10,000, $11,000 sitting around. That just seems to be the average for what we see here at the dealership. If you are going to do some financing, if you're going to finance a part of it, I got our dealership, someone in the dealership here to run some numbers. Now again, numbers can be flexed and spun and twisted a whole bunch of different ways, but just as a similar option, this is his nice handwriting, the Corolla could be financed for about 4 years at $138 bi-weekly. Now, sometimes a Corolla of that age is much more difficult to finance for longer terms. Now, a lot of places will tell you, hey, we can finance for any number of terms, we can approve everybody, all those things happen, but what they do is they charge you a very, very, very high interest rate in general. Let's just say that in general. I want to be careful with what I'm saying. So although you can finance things in different rates and different things, you end up with paying more for interest and those kinds of things in general. The Rio, you would do on a 7-year finance, and it would be $137 bi-weekly. $138 bi-weekly for the Corolla, $137 biweekly for the Rio. So for some people, you're still going to say, hey, wait a minute, I'm still going to pay more for the Rio. Yeah, you are. It's an $18,000 car. However, you're going to pay less interest on it. And let's talk about what you end up with. So again, this is just the really quick financial portion of it, and then I'm going to show you why you may want one instead of the other, because there's a lot of features on the car that may make it worthwhile. So first of all, you finance that, let's say for 4 years is what is the standard. You're paying $1 more per bi-week, so a couple bucks more a month or so. And when that car is done being paid for, it's 11 years old. Currently, it's a 7-year-old car. When this car is done being paid for, it's a 7-year-old car. So in other words, when this car is that old, it's paid for. Paid for. And that's the thing to keep in mind. Sometimes people say, hey, I don't want to buy a used car. My dad always told me to buy used cars over new. I don't want to buy a new car. You know, used car makes more sense. So the way we're talking is that if you finance that one biweekly and you finance this one biweekly, it's $1 less biweekly to go with this vehicle. And yes, you have 3 years longer term, but that's an 11-year-old vehicle with 100 or a 7-year-old vehicle with 131,000 kilometers on it right now. So it's an 11-year-old vehicle when it's done being financed. This one has 0 kilometers on it. Well, a few more than that, probably 20 or so. And it is 3 more years of that $137 biweekly payment. But by the time this car is that old, it's paid for. And if you were comfortable buying a vehicle that old, why not just keep this vehicle 7 years from now? So a lot of things going on here. And of course, an 11-year-old Corolla, not going to be worth a ton when you put the mileage on. And let's talk reliability. Everybody's like, ooh, I want the Toyota because Toyota reliability. Love this because it's based on old data. Toyotas are reliable. They're great. Corollas are fantastic. I've had a Camry in my past. My brother's had a Corolla. So Corolla is great, right? So he said, wow, that Corolla is 7 years old. Yeah, it's a 2014. It's 2021. So the thing with the Corolla is they built the reputation winning a number of awards. That's where you get Toyota's quality from. Guess who's winning those awards right now? Kia. A lot of quality awards. Kia is up there with the Corolla or up there with Toyota overall. And initial quality, we've beat them a number of years in a row. So there's a whole bunch of ways that Kia is now building their reputation of quality when these cars were winning it. 7 years ago, when the Toyotas were winning their quality awards, that's when that car did it. Now you're buying cars today are more reliable than they've ever been, and we're still winning some of those awards, many of those awards, or we're up there with Toyota on everything. So the question really becomes, do you want a 131,000 kilometer car or a essentially 0 kilometer car when you're talking about long-term reliability? Because keep in mind, if you put 300,000 kilometers on this car, you have 300,000. You put 300 on that car, you have 430,000 kilometers. And again, so you've already got that thing going for you. But now let's dig into the specifics. Corolla, it's going to have had brakes done at some point. When you buy it, were they Toyota brakes that were put on it? Were they factory brakes or were they aftermarket brakes? Will you have more issues? The tires, they don't look too bad here, but again, they're not brand new. So you're going to have to put tires on this car before you're going to have to do that. So he says Toyota is known for reliability. So is Kia. Okay, let's just get this out of the way. So is Kia. Kia is now known for reliability. They weren't in the past. But Kia is now known for reliability. If you look at the studies, yeah, Toyota's still up top. Many places Kia's higher. Some places Toyota's higher. But Kias are also known for reliability, especially with this Rio. All right, my light's just turned off. So again, we're going to talk about some of these things. Did Kia overtake Toyota in many qualities? Yeah, so initial quality for the past 5 years in a row, Kia has been #1 mainstream brand over Toyota. Toyota's sometimes mid-pack in some of those things. They've had issues that we haven't had. So, you know, it's a surprise for some people to hear that Kia is a reliable brand, but it really is, and the studies show that. And, you know, in some cases, Toyota's still on top. In other cases, Kia's on top. So that's a big thing to keep in mind. If you're buying the Corolla because, hey, I trust Toyota because of the nameplate, when they developed that reputation, they won a bunch of awards. This company is winning those awards today. So that might matter when you buy a car today. All right, let's jump in and show you some of the differences here. Let's start with the Corolla. Corolla's a nice car. We're still for sale. If you want to buy it, come buy it from us. But let's get away from the financial side and say, okay, let's talk about the actual vehicle that you have to live with for the next 5-7 years. Oh, one little thing, we have to fix this. This is a used car. I don't want to downplay it. There's a little creak to the door there. You don't get that on a new car. Okay, so you've got cloth seats here, height adjustable, tilt telescopic steering wheel, quite nice. Also, how much for the Toyota? We showed that earlier. I'll go back to pricing in a second. We're just going to step away from the financing information, pricing information for a second, and we're going to jump into the vehicles themselves to show you what you're getting here. And then we'll come back to the talk, and we'll take your questions. I should point that out. We will take your questions in this video, absolutely. So we'll go through stuff. Okay, when you turn on the Toyota, Left side tach, right side or center speedometer, right side fuel gauge. Nothing too fancy here. You have a basic information display panel down here, which we can sort through on some of the things. And, oops, that's not it. That's the radio, sorry. Oh, how do you sort through? I have to see how through. But you do have, you know, temperature, outside temperature, speedometer, so you've got that in there. And you zoom over here, and you've got a radio display screen. Now, this is a nice radio display screen. It does have a backup camera. It is not as clear and not as wide angle, and that's going to be hard to show on camera, but you'll see it in person. Also, when I turn the wheel, these guidelines don't turn. Overall, the size of this thing is my hand, so that's a good measurement stick. Basically, the corner of my thumb, my finger touches the edge. So remember, when my finger's at the edge, you can still see the corner there. That's how big this screen is. Significantly smaller than in the Kia. You do not have navigation in this car. You do not have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. You will have those. In fact, it's wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay in the Rio. We'll talk about those advantages. Down here, you have a manual climate control system with air conditioning. We're going to turn that off for now so we don't waste any battery down here. You do have what I like to call rump roasters, high and low. So high and low, so 2 levels of heating on the rump roasters. You have a USB port here, and you have a 12-volt port there, and a USB port right up there. And those are powered systems, so you can power it up. Little spot to put your phone. This is a CVT transmission. Kia is also now an IVT transmission in the Rio. Traction control button down there, and you've got cruise control on the wheel, audio controls for Bluetooth, and I don't know if this has Bluetooth streaming or not. I think it is just, oh yeah, you do have Bluetooth audio streaming, AM, FM, CD player. If you want a CD player, you get a CD player here. If you don't need a CD player and you can just play music from your phone, you got that. So you do have some nice things. And again, the touchscreen on here is fine. I'm not going to claim that it's great. It's fine. The clarity of the screen is okay, and it's not great as well. But again, you're buying a 2014 car. You know it's not perfect. So let's just show you that's the basics. Now let's jump over to the Kia. I'm going to turn this car off for a second so I don't waste the battery on it. Jumping into a new car, you're going to get some different things. First of all, you have that new car smell, which some people like. I don't think they're too strong on our Kias, to be very honest. But you do have seats that no other bum has sat in for any length of time. What that means is they have the cushioning the way they should be. It's like buying a new mattress. You buy a mattress that's 7 years old, that you slept in that long, you know, it gets different than sleeping in a brand new mattress. So you have new seats, height adjustable here. Just going to be really blunt here, guys. For my body size, the Rio has nicer seats. It just does. Than the one we're comparing to. Is the Rio good for doing DoorDash and taking lots of mileage? Oh yeah, I've seen Rios with lots and lots of kilometers. 300,000, no problem on these cars. All right, let's jump in here. So you jump in here, you have a telescopic wheel, height adjustable seats. In my books, this is a little bit more comfortable for me. What's changed at Kia to compete with Toyota in quality? I keep getting the quality question. This is something that you guys need to research because I'm obviously a biased opinion. Go to JD Power, look at initial quality, look at stuff like that. Kia's up there with Toyota. Sometimes they're above, sometimes they're not. But Toyota doesn't have the quality advantage they used to. You don't have to take my word for it, but it's true. Okay, coming in here, ignore fuel efficiency on both cars. Both these cars have been idling with me for a little bit here. Right now, you have 29 kilometers on this car, 29. And on the other one, you have 131 at least. I think it was actually a little bit more than that. So you're going to start out here with a lot more information. Now, you can have the trip computers, trip A, trip B, speed limit type warning things, range, fuel efficiency, instant fuel efficiency along the bottom there. So a nice display screen, a little bit easier to read. If you step up one level in this car, you have a digital display. But then again, we're probably moving out of your price range potentially. So that is what it is. Maybe it's competitive. Maybe it's not. Now, remember I used my fingers to compare screen size? Look at the screen size of this one. There's my corner of my finger in there. This is a significantly bigger screen. So when you use your backup camera, you have a much clearer view. When I turn the wheel, the yellow and red line turn roughly where the car is going. The blue line stays in place. Infotainment display is more bigger, somebody says. Yes, it is. So you've got that, but you've got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and it's wireless. Now let's talk about what that means. You carry a cell phone around. You have a basic data plan. Google Maps, they use very, very, very little data. And in fact, if you're going somewhere, you can download the mapping software on Wi-Fi before you even get in your car. So even if you had like almost no data plan, you have Google Maps in this car. I don't know if you've ever used factory navigation in a car. Kia, Hyundai, I hope you're not listening. No factory automotive navigation is as up to date and as good, in my opinion, as Google Maps. Google Maps and Apple Maps are the most up-to-date maps in the world. So now you've got those in this car. Everything Apple CarPlay, everything Android Auto updates the same way your phone does. It'll constantly be updating. You've got navigation. So let's say you're driving down the road, a friend of you sends you a text message. You just talk to your phone, even if you haven't plugged it in, because you don't have to plug it in. Just talk to your car and say, read me my text message. They read your text message. Hey, we're going to Johnny's place instead of Lizzie's place. Meet us there. And then we're going to go to, XYZ Fairgrounds. Perfect. How do I get to XYZ Fairgrounds? Well, then you call it Google Maps by voice and you have it in this screen. You can keep fully connected because you've got wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay. You've also got your AM/FM stereo. You have HD radio. This is a new radio that picks up better quality sound than you would have had in the Toyota. So you have HD radio. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay is wireless. It's awesome. It works really, really well. And the fluidity of this touchscreen, let me just go somewhere, is very good, if I go the right way, very good as far as swiping across. Feels like an iPad. In fact, it almost looks like an iPad. Quiet mode is just a cool little feature. If you got kids in the back, you can mute the rear speakers, or if you have somebody listening to their music in the back, maybe they're listening to their earbuds, you can turn off the rear speakers so they can listen to their music. You can listen to yours, which is kind of cool if you have friends that you're taking up to the cottage or kids in the back, whatever it is. Again, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay on this, and it's wireless is a big deal. Down here, there's your overall air conditioning, climate control, basically the identical thing to the Corolla, just looks a little different. This is pretty cool. You've got a nice rubber padded spot to put your phone, which again, you can just leave here because you got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. If you want to charge it, there's a USB port, there's a 12-volt port. That's, again, identical to the Corolla. Bigger space down here than you would have in the Corolla. An IVT transmission for Kia. This transmission makes the car drive really, really well. It also gets really good fuel efficiency. I believe it is going to beat the new, the current the Corolla we're looking at, and even the new Corolla. Put it in drive, tap it this way. You can shift between 8 different gear ratios if you want. It feels pretty solid there. Remember the Corolla had 2 levels of seat heating, the rump roasters. We've got 3 levels of rump roaster in this one, and you've got a sport mode here. Why? Because the sport mode makes this car fun. It doesn't make it overly powerful. It doesn't work miracles, but it keeps it in the revs. It makes the throttle a little bit more immediate, and it makes this car feel zippy around town. I have one issue that I've always had with the Corolla. It's a great car to buy. Yes, it's reliable. I'm not saying it's not reliable. I'm just saying Kia is as reliable now. But the Corolla, nobody buys a Corolla because, man, that car is just a blast to drive. You just don't hear people saying that. You do hear people say that with the Rio. People love the Rio. Somebody just said, hey, Peter, I got a Rio 2020, loving it. CVT is crazy smooth. Feels like I'm floating on. Yeah, the CVT transmission in this car, the IVT technically, transformed this car into a better driving car. So now you've got a sport mode that makes it more fun. We'll read some of those comments in a second. And again, park and brake down here. You can still do e-brake turns, although I don't recommend it, but you can. And you're buying this car with a full warranty. So you've got a 5-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty in Canada. If you're in the States, it's even better. Those people in the States, technically you pay for it, so just keep that in mind. Canadians are saying, why don't we get that warranty? Because the Americans pay for it. It's just built into the car. You can get that warranty here. But let's talk about it. You get a warranty in this car. You've got new brakes, and they're factory brakes. When you buy a used car, you might have new brakes, but are they factory brakes? Who did the work? Is it properly lubricated? Are those things done? You don't have to worry if somebody skipped 7 oil changes in the ownership of the car. You don't have to worry about, why is that door panel painted? Was it a bigger accident than I think? New car is a new car. So let's jump out. We'll talk about, we should show you the steering wheels here as well. Cruise control in the other car, cruise control in this car. Bluetooth audio, Bluetooth connection, phone controls right there. Automatic headlights on this car as well. Heated mirrors on both the cars, power windows, power locks, and traction control button. So basically you're getting the same features, except this is the thing that's light years ahead. You're ending up with that wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay. And really quickly, Kia sells a Telluride right now and the Kia Stinger. Neither of those cars have wireless Android Auto or wireless Apple CarPlay. You're getting something in here that you don't get on the top line. And Toyota doesn't do that. Toyota doesn't introduce new features on the Corolla that haven't been introduced on a Lexus. They just, Kia does everything they can to make whatever vehicle team they're working with, they have to produce the best vehicle they possibly can. And that's what they've done here. So let's take your questions here. If you've liked what I'm doing so far, do me a favor, hit the like. If you like the fact that we do this, even if you disagree with me, but you like the fact that we're doing this, hit the like for me for a second. Let's see if we can get to, I don't know, is it fair to say, can we get to 40 likes today? I feel like that's fair. All right, so you guys are gonna have some questions. I'm gonna answer your questions. So let me just go over the real brief basics of what we've covered so far. Monthly payment, or sorry, bi-weekly payment. This is $1 less than that. That one you can only do a bi-weekly payment for about 4 years before you get into crazy, like just crazy financing type stuff. This one, the bi-weekly payment is going to be in 7 years. So you are going to pay for this one a little bit longer, but your payment is actually $1 less. New car insurance is often less than used car insurance, basically because safety features, all kinds of things, but you can look up that for yourself. So it may make more sense. When that one's done being paid for, it's 11 years old. When this one's done being paid for, it's 7 years old. That one's got 131,000 kilometers. We don't know if the brakes, if they're new, even if they are new, are they factory brakes? How long has it been in the sun? How soon is it going to rust? How much warranty is on that car? You have to buy warranty on that car. This car's got warranty that comes with it. So all of those things are included. And frankly, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and wirelessly means you have navigation in this car, all the cell phone features, and because it's Apple and Android, those features update as you move on in the car. The Corolla is not going to have any more updates. You're just not going to get that. All right, let me jump back. I'm going to take your questions here. Let me flip over to me. All right, I'm going to take questions. I know you guys have asked a bunch. We're going to go through the Rio a little bit more just to show you some features. If you want to see the Corolla, we'll do that as well. Is the Rio good for doing DoorDash, taking lots of mileage? Yes, we talked about that. I think that's a really great car for that. What changed in Kia to compete with Toyota's quality? Basically, Kia has moved. They are obsessive about quality. And if you look at where they were to where they are, they're on this upward trend. Toyota is actually on a downward trend, maybe level in some things. So not saying Toyotas aren't reliable. They're very reliable. But cars today are more reliable than they ever have been in the past. A winning car from 5 years ago is nowhere near a winning car today. And we're up at the top. Somebody says, thanks to Peter. Oh, thanks to me. I didn't read that part. Thanks to Peter, I got a Kia Rio 2020 and I'm loving it. The CVT is crazy smooth. Feels like I'm floating up to speed. Love his ability to point out the options that matter to me as a consumer. So that's what we're trying to do here, is point out things that matter to you. If you want to buy a used Corolla, don't come at me in the comments. Just go buy your Corolla. So there we go. I'm cool with that. Lexus ranks highest overall in vehicle dependability among all brands with a score of 81. Then Porsche, then second, then Kia, and then Toyota. So there you go. Lexus is number 1. Kia is ahead of Toyota, according to Andrew Matthews in our comments section, and that's from JD Power. Kia is right up there. So there you go. So Kia is right up there. Lexus, it's right, technically ahead of Toyota. So there's a used car, and this car is as reliable as that brand, but you got 130,000 less kilometers on it, and you've got, you've got new car warranty. So people who don't believe me, Andrew Matthews, thanks for looking it up. That's right from JD Power's website. You can look it up as of today, which is the 23rd or so of July. There we go. What's the resale value of the Kia versus Corolla? Love to talk about resale value. Okay, let's be really honest. You buy a new Rio today, you buy a new Corolla today. Toyota's going to have better resale value. But we're talking about a 7-year-old Toyota. If you keep this car for 7 years, you keep that car for 7 years, you tell me which one's going to be worth more. I already know the answer. It's this one. It's not that one. That's the way things work. So again, the alternative to a Rio, is maybe a Toyota Yaris in a new car segment. And in that case, I definitely make the case this is a better car. Toyota, I don't even know if they make the Yaris anymore. The Corolla, what we're talking about is used to new. So 100%, the Kia, if you buy a used car, is going to have more resale value in 7 years than the Corolla will, especially since the Corolla is starting with 131,000 more kilometers. Okay. Oh, somebody says when I talk about quality, it has to show the quality of the horn on the Kia. Okay. I don't know if I can, well, I'm going to tick people out, but we'll do that. There's no boss here today. So we did that. There's that horn. It is a loud horn. This doesn't translate on camera, guys, but you guys asked for this a lot. Yeah, that's a difference. Toyota's a very polite little beep. That is a difference. That's pretty funny, actually. You didn't hear it in person, but it's okay. Good call on the horn demonstration. There's a difference. I was not expecting quite the difference. It doesn't show on camera. I'm sure there's definitely a difference in the horn. That was funny. Okay. I'm really glad we did that. Does the Rio have heated seats, steering wheel for Canada? And how's the rear view camera quality? And how's the driving experience? Okay. Does it have heated seats? Yes. Does it have a heated steering wheel? You can get that one step up from this. Does it have a better rear camera than the Corolla? Yes. Even when you go 2021 to 2021, Kia has a better rear camera than the Corolla. How's it driving on the highway? Very good. The wheelbase is actually pretty similar between these cars. That's the distance between the center of this wheel and the center of that wheel. That's what often determines a ride on the highway. And they're very similar on these two cars. The sedan is a little different. If you want to go apples to apples, we could get a Forte in there as well, which I also would happily put up against a Corolla. But I think, yeah, the ride is very good. And rear view, camera quality, we talked about that. Heated seats, heated steering wheel, so there we go. Okay, what are we going on here? I'm new here. Will the K5 have a digital dash in America? Oh, I don't know. Let's talk about, we'll go off topic in just a few minutes here. Let's go a few more minutes. All right, I'm gonna show trunk space as well. This one happens to be a hatchback, and that may be a concern for you if you're looking at a sedan. The Rio used to be available as a sedan. To be very honest, it just didn't sell very well. People wanted this in the hatchback mostly, and they just stopped carrying it in North America. There is a Forte if you wanna go apples to apples, Corolla to Forte. I just think this is just a more fun package to drive. And if you're a college student, or if you're just someone who wants something easy to park, fun to drive, the Rio is just easier to park, more fun to drive. But let's look at the trunk here for a second. Pop it open. First of all, you've got a pretty deep trunk in here. It's probably going to be a little bit smaller width-wise than the Corolla, but we'll throw my teddy bear in there a second to check. That little panel, that's a privacy cover, that comes out, and of course you can fold down the seats. The big benefit with this car is if you went to Lowe's or Home Depot and wanted to load a dishwasher in the car, you can do it with this car. You can fold the seats down and do it. If you go to Lowe's and Home Depot over here, you can't throw a dishwasher in the car, but you will have a nice little trunk. We'll pop that up for you. Oh, we can't do that here. Right, we have to go, that's the other thing. We have to go here to pop the trunk, or you have to use your key fob, which is fine. Okay, Corolla trunk, definitely bigger. If you have 4 people in the car at all times, buy a sedan. I think that's the lesson we're learning. But the Rio, again, if you have enough space, that's all you need. If you only take 2 people in the car, I bet you the Rio's gonna have more because you have that height. So we're going to throw Teddy Bear in here. How does he fit? How does he do? Teddy Bear is a little squished width-wise, right? His head's punched down into his tummy, but he easily fits there. And keep in mind, if I fold down the seats, take out the panel, he's got even more room there. Now let's go to the Toyota. He's going to have a little bit more room in here width-wise. And again, I'm not saying don't buy used Forte or new Forte versus used Corolla. That might be an option for you as well. He's got more length there. He's got more depth there. But again, tons of space. And I always say, if it's big enough for you, not everybody needs a Kia Telluride. Some people are perfectly happy with a Kia Seltos. Same sort of principle applies here. If you have the space that you need, then do you need more? So bigger trunks are usually better, except that they make the car longer, harder to park. This one, your back window is the back of the car. And you can see that. So does the Rio fold flat? No, they do not fold fully flat. Neither do the Corollas. But I can show you if you want to see what they look like folded down. Let's see here. Oh, they got seatbelts done up because they did it. Ooh, nobody wants to look at me. Let's not do that. There we go. Let's put the seatbelts up. Right. Headrest is up. I got to put the headrest down here for a second. There we go. And I have the seat too far back because I was trying to show you on video. That's not where I sit in this seat. But I was trying to get a little extra space for the video. There we go. Moved it forward an inch or so. Do they fold flat? Not quite, but pretty close actually. Better than I thought. But there is, of course, a bump up there. So you have that rising bump right there. The other thing is, if you want a spare tire in this car, you can get one. It's an accessory. If you don't want a spare tire, you have an inflator kit, and then you've got a ton of underfloor storage. So we're talking about a foot worth of depth in there. If you're going camping, you can fit stuff in there as well. Someone says, awesome, thanks for showing. Yeah, no problem. That's kind of what we do here. So I'm hoping I can earn your subscription to a video like this. So again, little step up. Once you fold the seats down and you take this panel off, you can fit really large items in here compared to the Corolla where you can't. Now, is the Corolla trunk bigger? Yeah, it is. It's a slightly bigger car. Is this car easier to park, more fun to drive? Yes. It is. It's more fun to drive. It's more fun. It is easier to park. The visibility is great in this car. You don't have, even though you have these panels here, it's just a different panel on the hatchback when you can see straight out the window the same way. It's a little different to look out the Corolla. So overall, if you have $10,000 cash, $11,000 cash to blow, buy that car. If that's what you have, cash in hand, you just want to have no car payments, that's going to make more sense. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, now this one, again, is better if you finance. So one thing I just want to point out as well, if you're buying a used car, more of your money goes to pay someone like me, a dealership employee. There's more profit margin in a used car than in these entry-level new cars. So if you want to put your money with a lower interest rate and more of your money goes to the car, this is the better way to go than that. Just something to consider as well. All right, let me flip up here, back to me. I saw some questions coming in. We're almost done. Will you ever get to do live test drives? Yes and no. So I can do live test drives, but sometimes what I want to show in the car is different. So I need to stop. The reality is there's really good videos out there of people doing test drives. And if I'm not going to be better at it, then you're a click away from tuning into someone who is better. My job is just kind of to do what I do. I will drive cars, but the problem is if I want to show you the trunk all of a sudden, I got to stop in traffic. So we've talked about that, but I'm not sure that that translates to our audience. All right, if I got a white Kia Rio and wanted to paint it hot pink, can you guys do that? And what do you charge? Yeah, we would wrap it, would be what we would do, and I'd have to look into what we charge. How does the Rio compare to the Elantra and the Civic? Rio is smaller. Elantra and Civic compete with the Forte, so gonna be a little less expensive. And let's be honest, the little bit bigger car might work for some people. If you carry around rear seat passengers a lot for long distances, the little bit bigger car, the sedan, the Elantra, the Forte, those are gonna be better vehicles. But the Rio, if you carry people occasionally in the back seat, perfectly fine. I fit back there. I can go back there if you want to see me in the back seat. We can do that. Thank you for this, Peter. Not only do I learn about the Kia Hyundai, but automobiles in general. That's cool. That's what I'm kind of here for. I just, you don't have to agree with me all the time, but I do my best to show you what I think. You should do a Rio and venue comparison. So here's the thing. I'm not sure, although they share a platform, I'm not sure that some of these Kia Hyundai comparisons are in the best interest of our dealers. So what I'll do is I'll always do a video. For instance, I've done a video on the Rio here. We have venue videos as well, and you can look at those back to back. When I put them side by side, sometimes they don't get equal screen time. I have dealers that want certain things. I have head offices that may prefer certain things. We will do less side-by-side comparisons. I will not shy away from doing them. I have full authority to do what I want here. But what I find sometimes is, for instance, the Elantra and the Forte right now. The Elantra is newer, the Forte is less expensive. Less expensive doesn't show on videos, so the Elantra looks like a better car. It is a little bit better car than our current Forte. And the same thing can go down the line. The Seltos was better than the Kona when the Kona came out. Now the Kona's been updated, we're back on thing. One's bigger, it just depends, right? So sometimes I have to be careful because one comes across as better, but they're not apples to apples comparison. And so the direct side-by-side comparisons I will do, but I won't do it often. Can you do a K5 and Sonata in the future? Yeah, we've done that K5 and Sonata because, again, those are both sort of the same exact generation. So there is a video. If you go to our channel and search for the K5 and Sonata, if you go search just our channel for the, or even just type in Kia Hyundai channel, K5 Sonata, you'll see the video there if you search that on YouTube. Does the Rio have flat back seat? We did that. Is Kia ever going to make the Rio with the rear seats folding out flat? Probably not. They won't. Somebody says that he tells his wife that the horn in the Corolla sounds too polite. It does sound very beep beep. That was a funny thing to do. I'm really glad we did that. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up there unless there's more questions here. All right, I think that's. Oh, if you check out the YouTube channel, okay, I can't tell you the YouTube channel of that, so I can't promote other channels on here, guys. Sorry about that. You can suggest them, but I'm not gonna talk about them because I haven't viewed everything on them, and I represent more people than just myself. So, but there are channels that do a great job of doing that, and I absolutely watch them. Like, I don't have any issues if you watch other YouTube channels. I think that's fantastic, as long as you come and watch us sometimes. Man, I wish the Forte 5 came to the US, maybe getting a Rio hatchback soon. Yeah, Forte 5 is awesome. Okay, guys, so I think we're gonna leave it there. Let's do a quick little recap. That car is less expensive than this car. If you're financing the car bi-weekly, this is $1 per payment less than that car. Again, conditions apply, talk to your dealer, those kinds of things. This car you can only finance for about 4 years. Again, conditions apply. This car we would finance for 7 years. When that car's done being financed, it's 11 years old and it has 131,000 more kilometers than this car's gonna have because that's where your starting point is. You don't know, even if the brakes were done, were they done with factory brakes? Even if the tires were done, are they factory tires? Are they better? Are they worse? If there's a mark in the paint, if it's been painted, why has it been painted? Has it been in an accident? We can of course tell you if it's been in an accident. You can see the headlights on this car, they're a little bit less clear than on this car. That's because it was sitting outside, so you have some damage, not damage, but just some wear and some age on that. You have a better warranty on this car from the start. Reliability, we already proved. Actually, our commenters proved that reliability ratings is better for this car than it is for a Toyota right now. So, there's no reliability difference really. And again, Which one makes more sense? 7 years after financing this car, you own it. That car at 7 years old, you're starting to finance it. So all these things play out. Which one's better for you? You guys make the choice. I don't mind if you choose another one. If you're a Toyota fan and you say, hey, a Corolla is absolutely better, okay. You don't have to tell me that in the comments. I'm cool with that. You can buy your Toyota. Be happy. If you're considering a Kia, yeah, there's a lot of good reasons to buy a Kia as well, and I'll help you with that process. The other thing that Toyota doesn't have is if you're a Kia owner, we do things called Kia classes. They're going to be Kia Hyundai classes now. If you own this vehicle, I'm going to have classes here, which are 3 to 5 minute videos telling you how to use every single feature. You don't get that from Toyota. You get that from us. All right, there we go, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a fun Friday. I wasn't sure if a Rio video would do well, but you guys have made it pretty fun. If you haven't hit the like button yet, do me a favor, hit that like button. Help me out. And if you want to subscribe, we do something like this every single weekday at 2 o'clock. So we do comparisons, we do stuff, we take your questions. If you can't join us live, feel free to join me on Instagram. You can ask your question there. I always post the car that I'm going to be doing that day in advance. So if you see it on Instagram, you can ask me a question on Instagram and I'll make sure I answer it in the video if I can't answer it on Instagram. Thanks everybody for watching. It's been fun. Somebody said love the content. I appreciate it. Thanks very much. You guys have been awesome and super polite today. I really appreciate that. It's really nice to have people that appreciate this on a Friday especially. Have a great day. We'll see you again next week.